Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre, hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond, sometimes even from the beyond. You can find us on YouTube and Instagram at Terror in Tandem, and you'll always find our latest episode on our website, terrorintandem.com.
If
you're listening to that at like 1.5 or 1.75,
it was perfect.
Speed, it was like. Boop.
Oh yeah, for those of you who like to listen to things at half speed, me. Okay, we're done. So, quick question: if you had to choose between the one, would you rather be lovable or knowledgeable? So, like, you're a lovable
we've
dolt,
talked about this.
or you're a knowledgeable
I'd rather
jerk.
be lovable.
I mean,
I'd rather be lovable.
but you're at the mercy of others because
Even if you're knowledgeable, you're at the mercy of others. Where do you
True,
live?
But I guess so. Yeah, I guess I'd rather be lovable too. But it depends on who my neighbors are, right? Like, if I'm in a nice place, then being lovable is great. But if you're in like a place full of manipulative schemers and jerks,
I don't know. Tom Cullen was lovable and Harold was knowledgeable.
Point taken. MOON. That spells point taken. So that'll come up in a future episode, I think.
Yeah, it will.
The Stand. Anyway, we
I can't stand
are gonna talk about a thing today that is fun, but
You're
also,
only going to hear that on the edit.
No, I heard it. Jeez, I'm just moving past it because it hurts too much. We are gonna be talking about something today, little bite-sized bits of horror.
Yeah, we're wrapping up the end of the year with something really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, this was a trip down memory lane for me, and also really, really had to think about what to choose. But the nice thing is like, hopefully some of you have seen these, and if you haven't, maybe we'll inspire you to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking TV episodes, folks.
Yeah, we our Halloween TV episode was really successful, so we thought we would stick on theme this time
The
and do
endorsements have been rolling in.
the scariest TV episodes.
Scary episodes
In
of
our
TV,
opinion.
which, if I'm recalling correctly, stands for television.
Yes.
So in your tube TV,
There's no tube TVs anymore, I don't think.
I mean, I'm pretty sure some like hipster has tube TVs because they're like, oh, you only get the best screen from a tube.
Cathode ray tubes.
Yeah, I know. Those things weighed a fucking ton. And honestly, it is pretty hard to go back and watch stuff in that quality now because I can barely see anything. It's crazy. The fuzzies.
For sure.
Remember how, like, when you're watching on something on VHS, every once in a while, just like a distortion line would just wobble its way through?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when you're watching old things, it's a little alarming.
Well said.
Thank you.
I recall when you were storing VHS tapes, if you didn't store them correctly, the magnetic tape inside could get warped. And my friend Dana and we tried to watch The Omen, which I wasn't allowed to watch, so we were sneaking it. And the tape was warped, so as soon as it started playing, all the sound was like...
And that probably made it scarier.
It was awesome. We were like, Wah!
The tape was warped, or was it warping you?
Exactly. It was the devil.
So we're going to talk about our scariest TV episodes.
TV episodes. Episodes of TV.
Please stop.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're going to talk a
I'm
little
trying
bit.
to move us along, and you just keep repeating the same bad jokes. Does TV stand for television?
Webster's Dictionary. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm going to go first with my choice, and this one, we're going to do that last.
Yeah.
So this one, I came to this recommendation. Actually, you are the one who helped me come to it because I was originally going to go with something else, but then I just asked myself the question, like, what was the earliest thing that truly frightened me?
Yeah.
And then, I went back, I revisited this. It stands, people. It holds up. I'm talking all the way back to the Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, think about what you were scared at a TV episode. And sometimes TV series, they last long. They're not scary individual episodes as much. They may have scary moments. But
Little House on the Prairie with the mask.
Oh yeah,
that's not
Sylvia.
A horror show, but that's a moment
it's
and
scary.
Everybody remembers.
Absolutely, but it's not a scary show. So anyway, yes, continue.
I mean, if you like technology, it's
the Twilight Zone. There's a lot to choose from.
But this is the one that stuck with me because I watched it at my grandparents' house when I was little. And it was around the time that Child's Play was a big deal because this is the episode that directly inspired the movie franchise Child's Play. We're talking season 5, episode 6 of The Twilight Zone, Living Doll. Now, Living Doll was written by Jerry Soule and directed by Richard C. Serafian. Yeah, he had a pretty interesting career, actually. He's mostly known for directing Vanishing Point in 1971, the movie with Cleavon Little and Barry Newman. It's about like a ex-cop who's I think he's running drugs, but he's also on speed. Anyway.
He's running and running on.
Now, this episode aired originally November 1st, 1963. You know what happened exactly 3 weeks to the day after that?
Tell me the date again.
November 1st, 1963. 1163.
What happened?
3 weeks to the day.
The assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Listen, I'm not saying John F. Kennedy was secretly assassinated by a sentient doll on the grassy knoll. But I'm also saying it didn't happen. So anyway, before we get into all of that, let's talk about this episode. Now, in this episode of The Twilight Zone, I'm just going to assume you all kind of know what The Twilight Zone is. I mean, my God. So Annabelle, yes, Annabelle.
Yeah, I'm sure they took the name.
The mother is Annabelle. And she's
the belle of the ball.
Well, yeah. She has a young girl named Christy, and she's married to Eric, who is her second husband, not the father of Christy. That's a big deal. And Eric is perfectly cast. I mean, just one of those moments of spot-on casting. Telly Savalas playing a very sweaty, very, very angry, shitty stepdad.
Yeah.
He's amazing at it, right? So, sweaty Telly Savalas, perfect. Now, the thing about Eric is he's really, really upset about the fact that Christy's not his biological daughter, and also that his balls don't work. He can't have kids himself. He is impotent.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. So, Annabelle buys her daughter a Talkie Tina doll. Now, Talkie Tina was basically it was an actual doll, but it was kind of modeled after the Chatty Cathy, which was just a doll of the 1950s and 60s that you pull a cord and it says dumb
things.
shit.
Yeah, pre-recorded little things.
Yeah, so this is exactly that. Now, Talkie Tina, when you pull her cord, she says wonderful, sweet things in front of the girls, in front of everybody. However, when Eric the jerk has the doll by himself, it says different stuff like, my name is Talkie Tina and I don't think I like you very much. He thinks this is pretty weird. It says stuff like, my name is Talkie Tina and you better be nice to me. And then finally, like, my name is Talkie Tina and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
So he tries to kill the doll. It always comes back. It blows out a match when he tries to burn it. A circular saw wears down instead of cuts it. So, he tries to bury it. It shows up again. It's basically just all drives him insane. And then, everything comes to a head when, spoiler alert, Talkie Tina trips Eric, falls down the stairs and dies. Now, Annabelle, the wife, doesn't believe Eric this whole time that he's, going crazy because he is legit an asshole. But then she picks up the doll. And Talkie Tina says, my name is Talkie Tina, and you'd better be nice to me. So, yeah, it's one of those classic Twilight Zone endings. Now, this scared the shit out of me when I was a kid because, again, Child's Play was a thing. The My Buddy doll was a big deal. I was like 5, 6, 7 years old around that age. So like Cabbage Patch Kids, dolls, right? And it was the way the doll sounded. It was so cheerful and nice, saying such terrible things. And the reason the doll sounded so cheerful and nice is because the doll, Talkie Tina, was voiced by June Foray, perhaps the most famous voice actor of the time. Best known, I think, to most of us as Rocky the Flying Squirrel from Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Cindy Lou Who.
Oh.
Boy, Cindy Lou got up to some terrible goings-on when the Grinch was around.
Yeah.
Anyway, this episode is one of the Twilight Zone's darker ones. It's very creepy. It's made an impression on so many people, you know, from the Child's Play franchise to Annabelle to like basically anything about dolls killing people. And also the absolute classic Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episode with the Krusty the Clown murder doll. That was an homage
probably
to this.
Annabelle being named Annabelle, I would assume, as an
Oh,
homage.
no. Ed and Lorraine Warren are 100% legit, and that evil doll is named Annabelle, okay? So any suggestion that they would have been influenced by something fictitious is frankly heretical. I want to read the Rod Serling outro to this one. Because at the end of each episode, Rod Serling...
Oh, yeah, does like a little postmortem.
Yeah, he'd like probably have a cigarette going. Of course, we all know dolls can't really talk, and they certainly can't commit murder. But to a child caught in the middle of turmoil and conflict, a doll can become many things. Friend, defender, guardian. Especially a doll like Talkie Tina, who did talk and did commit murder in the misty region of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the whole thing is Talkie Tina does look out for Christy, the little girl.
Yeah.
Which M3gan is another.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know, taking its protecting the little girl mission way too far. This is the Twilight Zone is. It means it's
classic for a reason.
It keeps coming up 60 years later for a very good reason. It transcends generations. It's timeless in the way that Shakespeare is timeless. And by that, I mean, thematically, we are still afraid of the same basic universal things. And Twilight Zone taps into it in such a timely way. You know, we've come a long way since the 60s, but we're still in the age of, like, technology. Mm-hmm. So we still have a lot of the same fears. This episode in particular, though, even rewatching it as an adult, it creeped me out.
Yeah.
It's just so very good.
Awesome.
Talkie Tina, the living doll.
So my first episode that I'm going to TV show episode I'm going to mention is from Hannibal. Which it basically all episodes. But Hannibal ran for 3 seasons from 2013 to 2015, and it was created by Brian Fuller, who created one of my other all-time favorite TV shows, Pushing Daisies. But this is not a romantic comedy, dark comedy. This is just a horror. And I'm going to talk about season 1, episode 10, Buffet Freud. It's starring Hugh Dancy, Mads Mikkelsen, and Lawrence Fishburne, among other people.
What a show.
What a show.
God damn.
So this episode is essentially Will is losing time. He's been losing time for a couple of episodes preceding this. And he's under the care of Dr. Hannibal Lecter as requested by FBI boss Lawrence Fishburne. And he's like really wants Will to be helped because Will's job is to go to a scene of a murder and he can basically reconstruct it by being inside of the mind of the killer.
Yeah, he does that like weird freak out thing.
And it's really awesome, but he's I would say unlike other TV shows that have done this.
Like Psych?
No, he doesn't get into the mind. He's just observant. But other shows that have done something like this, it really does take a lot out of Will. So he's under the care of Dr. Hannibal Lecter. And one of the scariest parts of this whole show, but of this episode in particular, is the constant gaslighting from Hannibal to Will. He convinces Will there's nothing wrong with him, that he's having a psychotic break, that he is losing his mind. He is going deep into psychosis. Will, on the other hand, he sees this murder happen, and it's a really kind of dark and disturbing murder. Woman is in her home alone. She gets into bed. She hears something, gets up, and then something drags her under the bed and basically like flays her face open. So Will is saying, I need to go make sure there's nothing else wrong with me. So Hannibal takes him to his neurologist, and we find out as viewers, and again, I do love this aspect of when we know more than the main character, we find out that Will has encephalitis. So his brain is actually sick.
It's swelling.
And so it's causing neurological issues like double vision, hallucinations.
He can't draw a clock face.
Right. It's kind of like a stroke. Certain elements of a stroke. Anyway, Will has the neurologist lie to him and say, oh, there's nothing medically wrong with you.
Hannibal, right?
Who did I say? Will?
You said Will.
Yeah, Hannibal. Hannibal has the neurologist lie to Will, saying there's nothing wrong with you, nothing medically wrong.
It was the best MRI we've ever seen.
And eventually Hannibal has the neurologist for dinner, which we all know what that means if you've watched any Silence of the Lambs. So we're in parallel with this murder, and the murderer has something called Cotard syndrome.
Hey.
So the murderer that dragged the woman under the bed and flayed her face open is suffering from something called Cotard syndrome, which is walking corpse syndrome. This is actually real. It's known as Cotard's delusion, or like I said, walking corpse syndrome. And it's a mental disorder where the affected person holds the delusional belief they are dead, or they don't exist, or are putrefied and have lost all of their blood and internal organs. So there's 3 different stages. The germination stage, where symptoms are like psychotic depression and hypochondria. The blooming stage, where you're in full delusion of non-existence. And then the chronic stage, which is severe delusions along with chronic psychiatric depression. So
at which point you are completely catarded.
This person is suffering from this. They think they're dead. And so they're like acting out these horrible murders because they're a ghost, essentially.
Yeah.
Anyway, why this episode is so scary to me is because when you have the feeling that you lose your grip on reality, and you're hearing from multiple people and getting multiple tests done that nothing's wrong with you, and you fall deeper into this psychosis, there's a darkness there that shows how truly evil Hannibal is and how much he wanted to keep Will like under his thumb, and how scary and sad it is to be trapped in your own mind and think you're going crazy.
And being Munchausen, because he's the one giving him the encephalitis.
Yes, that's the other thing, which many episodes. So anyway, the imagery is scary. The episodes of Hannibal feel like a waking nightmare.
Yeah.
There are cuts to like slow blood drops and like noise.
And what they were able to get away with on NBC was amazing.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
I was very surprised.
It's hard to say beauty, but
you're not wrong.
This show is beautifully grotesque.
It's a terrible beauty.
Yeah. And
Mads Mikkelsen plays Hannibal. I think we've discussed this, but his version of Hannibal Lecter I see as like a dark god.
Yeah.
He is like
that's how he sees himself.
He's
for
an
sure.
omnipotent, just all-knowing puppet master. It's fucking incredible.
What's so interesting too is this dual kind of narrative that's going on, which is Hannibal gets inside of people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
But Will's job is to be inside of like the mind of the killer in the crime scene, but he cannot get into Hannibal's mind. Like he can't figure Hannibal out, and he's under his spell. It's like
getting inside your brain.
You know how Dracula has that ability to kind of hypnotize people?
Do I?
Hannibal has that ability too.
Yeah, he's a Svengali.
Yeah.
In Silence of the Lambs, he hypnotized his cell, the guy in the next cell, Miggs, into swallowing his own tongue, which that's a trick. So
Hannibal, any episode will really cause nightmares, but this is one of the scariest
ones. The one with the corpse tree? That was amazing.
And again, these like murder tableaus are really hard to watch, but beautiful. And the way this is filmed is very polished, and Hannibal is very sophisticated, and he does everything with such grace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it is, I understand. It is hard to look at a thing like that and be like, wow, but I think that's the point. Brian Fuller has such an incredibly sumptuous visual style. He's like, he reminds me of like Jean-Pierre Jeunet, just like very just surreal, but also whimsical.
Yes.
And dark. Even Pushing Daisies.
Oh yeah. Just the concept of that was, and it's like tragic.
It's like my jam, my absolute sweet zone of like whimsical evil.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, anything you check out, but check that one out. And also the last episode of season 2, I debated between which one to do, but since this comes earlier, season 1, but season 2, the last episode is also really, really violent. Yeah. Scary.
Remember that one. And then season 3 with all the Mason Verger stuff, Yeah. The pigs.
Yeah. The, what was he? The butcher of Belfast? No. The Florence, the monster of Florence. That character comes out.
Hannibal. Ooh, I'm next. Me. And it's me. And this one is one that, look, it's going to come up on every list you find. Every time you type in scary TV shows, this is on that list. And there is a reason for it. I'm talking season 4, episode 10 of the dearly beloved Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, yeah. It does come up on every list.
Hush! Yeah, and there's a reason for that, right? So watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer from episode 1 all the way through, right? The first season, I hated it. I almost gave up. I'm like, this show kind of stinks. The second season, boom, kicks off. A lot of that is Drusilla and Spike. But anyway, by the time we get to season 4, the show is like really in full swing. It's just firing on all cylinders. We've got the core crew fully established. We have the addition of Amber Benson, Tara, excuse me. We've got Riley, which, your mileage may vary with Riley. But hush. Now, this one originally aired December 14th, 1999, which I'm putting in historical context, 6 months before a certain co-host of this show graduated from high school.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Huzzah! Now, like I said, this episode of Buffy is, it's in a way a jumping the shark moment because the show went on for 3 more seasons after this, but it was never as scary. This was the scariest episode. I think most people kind of agree with that. So it was written and directed by Joss Whedon, the creator of the show. And basically, in this episode, everybody wakes up to find out that their voice is missing. They can't make any sounds. So, they try to. There's a lot of like pantomime of like screaming with no noise.
Can they hear?
They can hear stuff. Yeah.
So there's sound happening.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not that all sound is gone. It's they can't hear. So, they can't speak. They can't speak. Now, you find out the reason for that when the Scooby Gang gathers and Giles does his presentation is, at night, these monsters called the Gentlemen are silently floating through the town, sucking out, the soul energy and shit of people. So they wear suits and they look like men, but they have the sort of the man who smiled like rictus grin. They're skeletal, and they have like Freddy Krueger skin. And all they do is smile, and they're always smiling, and they don't make any noise.
Do they float?
They float. Yeah, they float. They're quiet. It's just so creepy. It's so like.
Do they go in the house
Yes.
to suck the souls?
They do this at night. So like everybody's asleep, everybody's vulnerable. And
That
it's
does
like
sound scary.
Yeah, and it's like happening through the neighborhood, you know? So it's this episode is memorable for just the sort of, it's the design of the gentlemen. I mean, they are so scary to look at, and all of their movements are very slow and graceful, and they clap for each other. Like it's like all a performance sort of, and they do a little golf clap for each other, and they don't speak, but you can sort of hear them saying like, "Oh yes, sir, the gentleman from here." It seems like they're very formal, you know? And the reason that everyone's voice has been taken away is the only thing that can hurt them is people screaming. So, you know, fight. Buffy finds the voices. She releases them. Tara and Willow do witchy things. Blah. But this really culminates in this scene that I love very, very much, where she's fighting, and then the voices get released, and Sarah Michelle Gellar lets out this fucking scream, and they all, you know, explode and die. But it's a really great shot of her, you know, and she lets out this powerful scream. I love Buffy. I mean, this show, I didn't watch it so much when it was on. I was in high school when it was on. I watched it a couple years later. You know, I binged the whole thing. It's a beautiful, magnificent show that has influenced so much that comes after it. But Sarah Michelle Gellar's performance as Buffy is one of the best of all time. I mean, she is so flawed and so fucked up and broken in this show. She constantly makes mistakes. She's selfish. She, like, you know, she runs away from her problems, but she always comes back. She fights, she grows, she sacrifices. Like, nobody hurts more than Buffy. And, like, she hurts herself, too. But I just loved the character for always being, like, imperfect.
Yeah.
Very imperfect. But Sarah Michelle Gellar is also small, you know? And she, like, kicks the shit out of vampires constantly. It's the best. But this episode, you know, it took away her ability to command people, to give orders. She was, you know, it showed her being vulnerable at certain points, which is my favorite part of Buffy, is the moments where they showed, oh, she might not win. And she was scared. You know, that's always the best. So,
and it's where Wesley and Willow fell in love and now are married for life. The actors.
Right. Wait, what?
Yeah.
She's married to
Alex Denisoff. Is that his name?
Yeah, Alexis.
Yeah.
They're married?
Yeah. For ages and ages now. Since the show.
No way.
They've been together. Yeah.
Allison Hannigan?
Yes.
I don't know anybody who's married to anything. But yeah, Alexis.
You know who Sarah Michelle Gellar is married to?
Ryan Phillippe?
No.
Philippe? Oh, no. No, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like him. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Anyway. But Hush is it's an episode that, like I said, the show is often very funny. It's often a lot of action. This episode is genuinely very scary.
Yeah.
The gentleman. Oh, and a little trivia side note: one of the gentlemen is played by Doug Jones, the wonderful actor who's done everything from the Black Lagoon monster, getting some in the Touch of Water. He's in
not
Star
the Touch
Trek.
of Water.
The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The Shape of Water.
The touch of water.
Yeah.
Rippling down my flesh.
Ah, yes. The tingle
Oh,
of...
God, I love the touch of water. It's so lovely.
Both of us here just absolutely sopping wet.
Let's take a break and dry off. Are you over the 50 shades of dull? Looking for a way to spice up more than just your sex life? Introducing H.H. Holmes Home Dungeon Design, where we take the kink out of the clink. With H.H. Holmes' discreet and silent design team, we transform your once tantalizing sex dungeon into a terrifying, well, dungeon. If you've already satisfied your craving for masochism, why not redesign your space for maximum sadism? We will reimagine your space to allow for all of your darkest plans to come to life. Don't have a sex room to convert? Don't worry, we love a blank slate. With our 3D specs, we can show you all the horrors, nightmares, and tortures you can create with just a few modifications to your space. Need drainage? We have the latest drainage grading and high-flow power technology used by the military to clean their most stubborn messes. So make that call from the last payphone in your town and engage with one of our talented dungeon designers today. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. We do not endorse nor condone kidnapping, torture, or murder, no matter how bougie your kill room is. Oh, we got our voices back, everybody. Aren't you guys relieved? So my next episode is from a wonderful season of a show. Just a one-season show, which it's all it needed. You know, I got to give it up to Mike Flanagan for not pushing it. You know, he didn't push it with Midnight Mass. He didn't push it with some other shows. This is another show. He just kept it at one season. Yeah, limited
it's
series.
Long-form storytelling instead of just milking it.
Haunting of Hill House.
Holy cripes.
And this is loosely based on the 1959 book by Shirley Jackson. And the episode I'm going to talk about is called Bent Neck Lady. And I get emotional just thinking about it. Season 1, episode 5. And this came out in 2018. So this show, just for those of you that might not know, is about the Crane family, mom, dad, and 5 kids. They moved to Hill House in the 90s. Their intention is to renovate and flip the house. And it stars Henry Thomas, Carla Gugino, and Victoria Pedretti, among other people. But it's really Victoria Pedretti's episode, and she plays one of the daughters, Nell. And the episode is about this tragic art of Nell Crane, and she's been haunted by a ghost that she calls the Bent Neck Lady. So it shows her as a child being haunted, and it links directly to her sleep paralysis. So if you know anything about sleep paralysis,
I do.
You often, your limbs go numb, but you end up being wide awake. You can't scream. You feel like you can't move or wake up, but you do see dark images in corners of rooms and at the foot of your bed. Or
a dark figure in the room.
So she's always suffered from these horrible nightmares of where she looks up or she looks at the end of her bed and there's a woman in like flowing dresses with her neck bent almost at like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, at an angle at which one could not survive.
And she finally finds some peace. Nell finds some peace in her adult life. She meets her husband, Arthur, through a sleep study, and he actually helps diagnose and manage her sleep paralysis. And one night she's sleeping and she wakes up suddenly with sleep paralysis that hasn't happened in a while. She sees the Bent Neck Lady, and Arthur gets up and he has a brain aneurysm and dies suddenly.
Yeah.
It's
very sad.
Very sad.
It, like the best of Mike Flanagan, it rips your guts out.
Yeah. So she's devastated. She isolates herself.
That's what any good ghost, any malevolent spirit does, is get you alone.
Yep. And so this ghost keeps appearing to her. Her sleep paralysis is back. She tries to stay awake but can't. And she is really suffering and falling into like this darkness. So she gets called back to Hill House. This Hill House that is taken from her pretty much what she deems as taken everything from her and ruined her entire family.
Which it did.
And she's so sleep deprived that when she's there, she starts to hallucinate. She starts to see her family and dancing around. And what we see as the viewer is her kind of chasing younger selves, her mother, her husband, all kinds of people through the house, like very much alive. And she puts a noose around her neck and jumps off the railing.
Yes.
And so then we see her hanging there with a bent neck. And then what Mike Flanagan does so well, which is basically like sucks you back in every moment and shows it was always her. Yep. It was always her and her final like killing of her own self that has been tormenting her this whole time.
She haunted herself.
She haunted herself with this premonition that didn't necessarily need to happen, but it was always fated to. It's like this anti-twist.
Oh, it's the worst.
And it is so sad and so tragic. And you just are so upset at Mike Flanagan for doing this to you because you're scared the whole time. It's a very scary episode. You're scared for her. You don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden at the end, you're like crying and sad because this horrible thing happens. And you're thinking like, I was so scared of this the whole time, but it was actually, I should have been sad for her the whole time.
Yeah, and she was like screaming for help.
Yes.
But
it never came into view for her.
Mike
It always
Flanagan,
in shadow, and it only came into view for us.
He did an Instagram post in response to a fan saying roughly what you just said, where it was him
like, how dare you?
No, it was him it was him drinking out of a mug that said "My fans' tears."
Yeah, it is. I've never really watched, and maybe your Buffy episode was a little bit like that. I've never really watched horror other than from Mike Flanagan that can make me so scared and so sad in the same episode.
Oh, not
or
Hush,
in the same,
but in the
movie.
Same show, I would say.
I know Buffy's mom.
When the death of Buffy's mom, the death of Tara, two moments that not just in terms of Buffy, but in terms of like defining moment, I think, for a generation of kids. Like when that happened.
But were those scary episodes?
No.
That's the thing.
Those episodes weren't scary, but the depiction of death was more honest and gut punch and realistic than I'd ever seen before.
I mean, I've seen people do effective, you laugh and then you cry, or you cry and then you laugh. I have never seen anybody do what Mike Flanagan does, which is makes you so scared and then all of a sudden makes you cry.
He's
so
an
hard.
insidious monster.
I mean, I had a hard time picking this episode over the Midnight Mass episode.
I know which one you mean.
There's a couple there,
yeah.
But I picked this because this was, I think about this all the time. I think about this episode all the time. There's another episode from this season 2 that is extremely scary.
Also want to shout out, while we're talking about Mike Flanagan so much, Kate Siegel. You're amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
She's also, you're the best. We love you too.
But really, Victoria Pedretti, the way that she has this like glimmer of hope in her life that things are going to be okay and then everything's taken from her again is awful. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Mike.
And Kate. When that episode of VHS Viral that she directed, no, not VHS, the one that the science fiction-y one.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one that Mike Flanagan wrote and she directed was another one of like, oh my God, just real gut puncher. There's something wrong with them.
Yeah, they probably laugh about it while they count their money.
They feed.
But never stop doing what you're doing. I still love it.
I will watch everything. And finish up Carrie so you can get to the Dark Tower.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, so Bent Neck Lady, I mean, it could be a standalone episode, although there's some background that you'll miss because of the family dynamics.
And
that's
getting
important.
to know Victoria Pedretti's character as well as how she's viewed in the family.
Yeah.
Really adds to the emotional impact of this episode. So, I mean, don't watch it out of order. Just watch the whole thing. Do yourself a treat. It's one
It's
of
the
the best
fifth
things.
episode of, I think, 8 episodes or 10 episodes. I can't remember.
I mean, if we're going like the first 25 years of the 21st century, this show is on the top.
Yeah.
At the top of the list for sure.
Midnight
Is it me?
Mass.
Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Or it's us.
It's us.
Oh, we're doing a thing. We're doing a thing.
Our last, it's the same. We couldn't part from it being the same.
And there's the reason I like this so very much is that you originally saw this when it aired.
I did. I watched this live every week with my family.
Watched it over 10 years later.
And then was like, okay, it's time to go to bed. And I'm like, what? I have to go upstairs to my room where Bob is?
That's amazing. I watched it over 10 years later when you sat me down we watched the whole series together, and then we watched Fire Walk with Me. Folks, we're talking Twin Peaks.
Yeah, we are.
And specifically the episode, season 2, episode 7, Lonely Souls.
It's episode 14.
Yeah,
it's really
14.
how it runs.
Exactly. Now this
but it's
is
episode 7 of season 2.
Couple of things here. This is the culmination of the like storyline, the Bob storyline, the Laura Palmer storyline. This also marked the end of Mark Frost and David Lynch's involvement with the show until they came back for the very end.
Yeah.
So the show,
you can tell.
Yeah, the show really fucking changed. It was
only 2 seasons.
But for a few episodes, you were kind of like, what?
Yeah. Why are they doing this?
It wraps up in a magnificent finale.
And this episode's called Lonely Souls.
You can't do this show without David Lynch and Mark Frost is what I'm saying. This show is them. So
from
anyway.
1990.
Yes. This is from 1990. Now, I guess I can't really spoil this episode. It aired November 10th, 1990.
You can spoil it.
I'm going to spoil it. It's
old. Played by Kyle MacLachlan, finally solves Laura's murder.
Yes.
He figures out that there's an evil demon by the name of Bob, and Bob is played really freakishly well by Frank Silva.
Not an actor.
He was the costume designer for the show and set dresser. I'm sorry, not costume designer, set dresser. He dressed the set. So kind of a costume designer, but for set.
Chairs.
And anyway, he was the set dresser for the pilot, and he was cast as the villain because his reflection was caught in the mirror during a scene in Laura's bedroom.
And it scared David Lynch.
Because he is fucking scary as hell.
He's a terrifying looking dude who probably in real life was a lovely guy.
So, Bob is a spirit that can possess souls.
And what we find out, not necessarily in this episode, we find out a lot in Fire Walk With Me later, but Bob's been a part of their lives ever since Leland was a child.
Yes.
He molested Leland, he possessed him, and you feel kind of bad for Leland.
Eventually you do, but in this episode, you do not feel bad for Leland.
At the end, it's no longer Leland. Leland has left the building. So let's just go back. So
Bob possesses Leland.
This episode, it bookends the show. It really feels like a finale in a lot of ways because we open the show in the pilot with the discovery of Laura Palmer's body and then sharing that news with the classmates, and everybody cries, and Lara Flynn Boyle does her epic sobbing like nobody sobs.
Oh, she's so good in this
Lara
show.
Flynn Boyle grief sobs
so pretty.
so well. Yeah. Oh, everybody in the show is gorgeous. Now, by this time, Maddie, Laura Palmer's doppelganger cousin, is about to move back to Missoula.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's real.
So she basically is a surrogate for Laura, and
we can't do this. We can't start going back and explaining past episodes of Twin Peaks. We will be here for years.
No, but she's sitting. What I'm saying is, in this episode, she's sitting in between the Palmers,
and
their
they're
daughter,
all over her.
And she's like, I have to go back home.
She looks exactly like their recently murdered daughter. The parents are, the mother's on pills. Leland is losing it completely, and they're all over her. And she's like, yeah, I got to go. So she's planning to move back to Missoula. Now, a lot of other subplots get resolved in this episode.
The one-armed man here especially is like the alarm bell.
I want to begin with I want to basically just cover the beginning of the episode and the end, because the middle is a lot of B plots. We don't
need the Bobby.
We don't need to get into all that. Yeah,
the Leo of it all.
So, at the beginning, we have the one-armed man who knows about Bob, who can sense Bob when he's riding another person. Now, there's a big convention in town. It's all at the hotel, and there's a whole thing going on with the whorehouse and Leland. But
because Audrey's there.
Yeah, and Horn. That's what I meant, Horn. And they have the one-armed man basically inspecting every single person. Now, there are like hundreds of people there because there are all these conventions in town, and it's taking a real toll on the one-armed man, and he just has a seizure because he can't. So basically that plan's out the window. They're trying to find who the fuck Bob is because they know he's hiding in somebody.
And Ronette, the other girl that was murdered with Laura, is in a coma.
Yes.
So she can't really
attacked
help.
with Laura. Yeah. She was one of the girls working at the whorehouse, at the brothel.
Well, they were in the same shipping container.
Yes. Now, towards the end of the episode, we find out where Bob has been hiding, and it's inside Leland Palmer, Laura's dad.
And what's so disturbing is Mom, Mrs. Palmer, played so disturbingly well by Grace Zabriskie, Sarah. She starts crawling down the stairs and across the floor. So she's obviously jacked up on pills.
Yep.
Leland
has been dosed.
Leland is standing in the
mirror,
hallway mirror.
Adjusting his tie.
And
smiling.
This is where we start to see Bob.
Lynch starts to superimpose. So Leland is smiling at himself in the mirror, and then in the reflection, you just start to see inserts of Bob's face. Now, Bob is a gap-toothed, scraggly, long-haired, white long hair. He looks like a crazy asshole who drives a van and murders people. That's Bob. So it's flashing back and forth, and Leland is you can get the sense that whatever was left of Leland has gone.
So this is when we
Bob
finally
has
realize
taken over.
We finally realize that Bob is possessed Leland.
Now, we learn later on that this has happened before with Leland, and Leland is the one who killed Laura.
And raped and molested her.
There's a bit of incest involved there.
Because, that does happen when it happens to you.
Yes. So, now, what happens here at that moment is Maddie comes downstairs and
skipping and and then sees Sarah on the floor and is
sees Bob.
Aunt Sarah, and then all of a sudden sees Bob. And then we see Bob crawling over the fucking couch. Oh, my God.
This murder scene, because he does kill Maddie,
it's
lasts
so dark.
4 minutes. Now, 4 minutes of watching a woman get molested and beaten to death,
slowly punched,
and then it happens in slow motion. The sound is slowed down, so they sound like demons. Everything is very surreal. This is one of in his entire filmography. This scene is one of the scariest moments he's ever filmed. I would say, along with the death of that guy in Mulholland Drive when he sees the demon homeless person. That jump scare, it's one of David Lynch's more terrifying moments when Leland Palmer / Bob is brutally beating with his hands to death.
Also slow dancing with her dying body.
Crying, begging her to forgive him. Because we see
Leland in other scenes dancing alone all the time.
And at this point, we don't know, is Leland still in there? Is he fighting to get out? Is he horrified at what's happening? How much of this is all of it comes together. It's not answered. And it's one of the most disturbing things you've ever seen. Now, across town...
Wait, before we go there, I want to talk about the sound in this scene. Because we hear Maddie screaming. We heard the record player, but now it's just clicking because the record is just, stopped. The music is stopped, but the vinyl continues to rotate. And it's just silent. We just hear silence. And then we cut to the where all the townies are.
Now, well, first off, in the murder scene too, Cheryl Lee gives a spectacular all-out performance.
Yeah.
She is screaming bloody fucking murder, fighting
She's
for
so
her life.
scared.
She's so scared. Cheryl Lee is a tremendous actor in this show, but in this role, it's the visceral aspect of the murder. It's not necessarily bloody, but it's so hard to watch because of the screaming, and
the tenderness. And when you said that, is Leland still in there? I think that when he's tender with her and slow dancing with her, that is Leland.
Even that, though,
I
is
think
creepy.
the Bob is it is creepy, but I think that's the Leland.
I agree.
And the Bob is the violent, like just gonna,
and
kill her.
Bob has been doing this to Leland since he was a little boy.
Yeah.
So at this point, who knows how much contamination there's been, but what David Lynch does to the sound,
it's all happening over Sarah's passed out body.
He slows the sound down and he lowers the pitch,
Yeah.
so Maddie's screams are elongated and much lowered by octaves. So it's like almost
like guttural.
demonic.
Yeah.
It's like if you feel like it sounds like a damned soul calling out from hell.
So then we go to the bar where
we go
some
to the
of the
bar.
locals are. And
basically everyone is.
In walks Agent Cooper.
With the log lady and the sheriff.
Yep. And then we are listening to... I just have to cut out this side. Julie Cruz.
Yeah, I think she was in Wild at Heart. She's done other stuff with David Lynch.
She's singing this very...
real cool weirdo.
Weird, hard to listen to, but also you can't stop listening to a song.
Yeah, like a David Lynch movie.
And then all of a sudden, the log lady gets her logging, and the big, tall giant comes out in spotlight.
Yes.
And
only,
talks directly to
Cooper. Only Cooper can see him. And what does he say, Laura?
It is happening again.
It is happening again. Because
Bob is killing again.
Again, just like what brought Cooper there in the first place.
Yep.
And the 100 billion year old helper at the bar shuffles over to Cooper with a very sympathetic, sad look on his face and just says, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
And then he leaves. I love that old guy.
And so now the townies are crying because this performance, but it's also they're feeling the death.
Bobby looks up and he's got this look on his face like something happened.
Yeah.
Something
happened. They all
happened.
know it's happening again.
Lara Flynn Boyle starts sobbing exactly the same way she did in the classroom when they announced Laura Palmer's death. However, she started crying before they said Laura Palmer was dead.
Yeah.
So there's always been that connection. It is the pilot scene where they announce Laura Palmer's death. That classroom scene I hope it's taught in every film class 101. It's a master class. But if you know that, the perfection of the circle being closed.
These 14 episodes are pretty perfect.
Just spectacular. There's a lot of weird stuff on the side plots, and it's very David Lynch, and it requires a bit of patience. But by the time you get to the end of Lonely Souls, I remember watching this with you in the first time. I was breathless, totally speechless, completely blown away. I'd never seen anything like that before, and I was watching it 20-something years after it aired.
Well, I just rewatched it, and it was very scary. And Bob,
15, 16 years later.
I mean, listen, thank goodness Frank Silva was standing in that mirror, because no one else could have been Bob.
An amazing job as Bob.
He's like feral.
Leland Palmer,
which is great,
played by Ray Wise. If we didn't mention it, I mean, Ray Wise is
so good.
He's not always in good stuff, but he's always good no matter what he's in.
He's not always in scary things, but he's been in scary things.
He's a wonderful actor, and as
he
Leland
does this
Palmer,
so well.
This is his magnum opus.
And you do feel bad for Leland a lot.
You really do,
but not in this scene. It's
hard to. It's hard to. But the murder of Maddie is so disturbing.
Yeah,
and what David Lynch is able to do with almost zero blood is It's really something.
And the sound and the skipping of the record, and just it's that haunting song.
The beginning as well, when you're watching the one-armed man, deteriorate and then have a seizure, and there are all those people,
and then Ben Horn comes walking in, and you're like, is it Ben Horn?
And it's all the people,
because you also find out in this episode that he was in love with and had like an ongoing sexual relationship with Laura. His girl, because Audrey is there to find this out.
Classmate, piece of shit.
So you wonder, is he Bob?
In this room there are dozens of military band people bouncing rubber balls at the same time. So the whole thing seems like a nightmare. Like you're watching just the tableau.
You don't know what is going on.
And you're like, this looks like I'm having a nightmare. There are people in uniform bouncing rubber balls. There's a guy with one arm having a seizure, and I'm in a weird mountain lodge. It is indescribable. But this episode, you cannot watch it without having watched the everything up until this point, or else it will just be meaningless to you. But with that dedication, I gotta say, you can trust that David Lynch and Mark Frost will more than reward your patience.
It's a scary
and there's a lot
episode.
Along the way.
This is a scary show, but it's also weird.
It gives you nightmares. It gives you nightmares.
Yeah.
It makes you think. It makes you wonder. It makes you feel unsettled.
It doesn't. They're like, it's kind of this place that exists, like the Twilight Zone.
It's a liminal space.
Twin Peaks is a place that doesn't really follow rules.
It might not be on any map you buy.
No.
But maybe the locals have heard about it. It's just an experience that I want everyone to at least try. I think it's something that you can't describe so much as just show, offer, and hope that it's received. But
and if you don't want to be scared, watch the Dual Spires episode of Psych, because it is a exact
they
portrayal.
get so many people from the show.
They get so
too.
many people, including Ray Wise,
Dana Ashbrook,
and Cheryl Lee.
Yeah, who, by the way, still beautiful, looking great. Cheryl Lee looks fantastic.
So that's our kind of wrap on
oh boy,
scary TV episodes.
We love it.
We hope that we gave you some insights on what to watch.
I mean, barely scratched the surface. I'm sure
there are so many. And let us know what you think is the scariest
be like, I can't
episode.
Believe you didn't mention. Well,
let us know. Send us a DM through
Yeah.
Instagram at Terror in Tandem.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Hispanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're static.